Hello humans and extraterrestrials. So, you've read the title, likely, but this is my vlog of reading The Son of Neptune. I'm filming this intro, unlike the first one, before I even started the book, if you can tell by my very clean spine. But my hair's also significantly redder than when I filmed the first one. I love my hair. I'm very excited about my hair being this colour. But I have just been in a slump in every sense of the word, like creatively speaking, academically speaking, in a reading sense. Just because I've had a lot of obligations in a reading way anyway. Specifically, I've had a lot of reading obligations that have both been moral obligations, like I have to read this, otherwise I'm a good person sort of thing, or otherwise I'm a bad person even sort of thing. Or I have to read this literally because I'm writing my dissertation on it, / I'm going to be doing an English degree, so I need to read these books. All of which are important and they're going to get read. However, what has been happening as a result of that is I've just felt like shit and haven't read anything, which is not an ideal way to read books. So I've decided I'm just going to read Percy Jackson, and all of that series is my happy place. So I'm gonna read this book, Son of Neptune, in its ugly cover. I'm gonna read this book and I'm gonna enjoy it and live my best life reading about Percy. And because Percy returns in this book, I get to read from Percy Jackson's perspective again, which I'm really excited about because I loved the first one. I loved The Lost Hero. It was a great book, and I really like Jason. And I really like Piper and Leo, and I'm not missing anyone. Am I missing a POV? I'm not missing a POV. If I am, I feel horrible. No, I think I'm right. But Percy Jackson's point of view and his snarkiness and his just being Percy was what made me love the original Percy Jackson series. So I get to read this and I get to read from him again, and it makes me so happy. And hopefully, reading is for fun, but I also have obligations. So hopefully reading this will make me more excited about reading again and want to read all the books that I have to read. So yeah. Map, which means I'm already having a fantastic time. Obviously, for the rest of this video, there'll be spoilers. For this whole series and for the original Percy Jackson series. But secondly, obviously there's so many parallels between Jason and Percy, but I didn't put together that Percy would also have lost his memory. Like, it makes logical sense, of course he's also lost his memory, but I've already attached to Percy, that's the thing. I wasn't attached to Jason when we met him, so I didn't really, I wanted to know what happened, but I didn't really care. The difference is I care about and I love Percy and I know what happened, so it's a different type of pain. He'll figure it out, but ow, he already had enough trauma, the poor boy. Okay, I understand that like a lot of Percy's supplies are about surviving in like a, because he has like a camping role, right? Which makes sense. I'm literally on page fucking like 4. Yeah. But what the hell is Percy Jackson gonna do with the pillow pet? I feel like they mentioned that Rick wrote it down because it's gonna be used in the future. Like, I feel like unless there's a reason, why would he make it a pillow pet? Just for flavor? Maybe just for some spice on that, but like kills a Gorgon with a pillow pet. Like the plastic bit on top of you. Oh god, okay. Pillow pets here were different from the ones in America. I think, well, there might be specific brown ones, but there were ones that like sang and stuff, so they had like a plastic top to them, which meant that they weren't actually comfortable pillows. But that might just be me misremembering things, but I'm pretty sure they had like a plastic middle bit that just wasn't comfortable, so you had to lie them upside down and then you could still feel the plastic underneath it. But updates are going to be really dumb, but thank Uncle Rick for giving us explanations as how to pronounce these characters' names. But Uriel, she said the name. Sorry, but Uriel, she said the name, so it rhymed with Muriel. Thank you. So I don't have to just either pronounce it wrong the whole time, like have like a Hermione situation, or like just not have a name for that character when I read it and just be like, oh, that one. I love Uncle Rick. All my updates are going to be so dumb, but it makes a huge difference. I love Rick Riordan so much, and he's so clearly, I think, making fun of the whole like very sort of typical like fantasy, but like really commonly used in video games now, trope of like, you have a choice. You can either be a hero or you can go and keep yourself safe. Like the old lady in the fucking oh my god. I encourage you to the camp because it's a kindness, she said. And if you don't, the gods will die, the Robin will perish, and everyone from your old life will be destroyed. Of course, you won't remember them, so I suppose it won't matter. You'd be safe at the bottom of the sea. It's so typical, and usually it does my head in, and it's annoying me slightly, but Rick's intelligent enough to be taking the piss out of it, and I kind of like it, so we'll see. Interesting divergence I'm gonna find in this book. When I went into Percy Jackson originally, I knew a lot of Greek mythology. Well, I didn't know a lot, but I knew about and really liked Greek mythology. Like I knew the gods, and I knew, kind of like the myths that people like Medusa and stuff, obviously. Whereas Roman mythology is not only spoken about less, but something I understand and don't know as much about. Obviously, there's a lot of overlap just with different names. June the god, like stuff like there's names, and there's certain gods that you can see from reading the first Heroes of Olympus book alone that Jason had different names because he had all the Greek names in his head, whereas Percy obviously knows where he had all the Roman names in his head, whereas Percy obviously has all the Greek ones. So it's really interesting that I'm less interested, and I don't enjoy Roman stuff as much. I don't know if that's just my theatre kid poking out, or like why that is. It just seems like a lot more violent, to be honest, in terms of mythology. Obviously there's a lot of murder and stuff in Greek mythology, but it seems like, I don't know, it just seems less fun. But it'll be really interesting to see if that affects my views on this book, because I read Percy Jackson for its character arcs. So who knows? Bad angle. But I find it so funny that in these books, particularly, obviously they did it in the first books as well, but there's things that I'd imagine like kids were like, people were like, that's ridiculous, or complained about, or like things that Uncle Rick assumed that people would complain about, and he's just brought them up in the Roman camp and Camp Jupiter. I really hope it continues because it's so funny for him to be like, oh, what, so are these camps split up by the different Greek gods' children, or the different Roman gods' children? No, that would be so ridiculous. There'd be people that were on their own. It's like, you're really calling yourself out, calling out the people that Camp Half-Blood, and it's so funny. It's back. I found Nico's here. I'm so excited. I really, obviously I'm just gonna read, but I'm so excited that Nico's here, and I really want to find out what's going on with, like, is Nico lost stuff? Is Nico gonna burst and start asking him questions? Even if, like, I'm so excited. But this is a really weird situation for Nico and Percy and me being meeting again, but I'm so excited that Nico's back. All these kids have fucking secrets. Why? I mean, I want to know, but like, Jesus. Aries / Mars is currently at Camp Jupiter. Percy Jackson is so fucking bold. Like, this god that he doesn't have like a clear memory of meeting has come up, who literally like the god of war, and he's like, I don't like you and I'm gonna continue to be mean to you and I'm not gonna kneel until my friends say that I should. Like, power move, honestly.
Man who turns down power, she said. That's not very Roman of you. I wonder why, Raina. I wonder why he isn't acting in a particularly Roman way. I would have absolutely no idea.
So firstly, Hazel is like so badass. Like, we had another flashback when she's on the boat, and Jesus Christ, that girl, like, I kind of got the gist of what happened, but like, that girl is so cool. Secondly, I was gonna make a complaint about how easily Frank figured out kind of Hazel's past, right? Because like, that wouldn't be the first conclusion I would think you'd come to, but when you think about it, she's a child of Hades, well, Pluto Hades. He's basically in love with her, and there's like a lot, like, it makes sense. I was just really jarred at first because I was like, but you're a himbo, how did you figure it out? But there's a lot of context clues kind of placed there, and people are already mean enough to her, you know, that figuring it out if you actually wanted to wouldn't be a huge stretch. But I was gonna complain, but when I thought about it logically, I was like, do you know what? No. And also, this line's so funny. Hazel was an expert on weird. She'd seen her mother possessed by an earth goddess. She'd created a giant out of gold. She destroyed an island, died, and come back from the underworld. But getting kidnapped by a field of grass? That was new. It's great. I love Hazel. She's so cool. Don't lose hope, Frank. Rainbows always stand for hope. Iris is a confirmed queer woman / goddess. Right. I don't know why I'm making these jokes when there are canon gay characters in this show, in this series. I'm about halfway through. 248 pages of about 500. So it's going good. I'm really liking it. I also started school today, so not that it'll make a difference to you because you're just going to see the video in full anyway, but it might take me longer to finish it, or less time, depending really. I've just started school again. How long it takes to make this finished, but I'm really enjoying it so far. Hello there, I am still reading. I'd like to apologise for the rest of this video. Sorry, let me reiterate. I have had some personal issues. A family member passed away. If I'm being blunt with you, that's what happened. And I am not, like, very recently, and I'm trying to cope with that, meaning I might be a little less cheery for the rest of this. However, I am still really enjoying this book. It's actually helping me cope quite nicely. And we're getting there. I am on chapter... Wait, can I do... Chapter 32, I think. XXXII. I think that's 32. I could be completely wrong. But yeah, we're getting through it. So I am reading, and I'm at the point where Frank is at his grandma's house with Mars, and I find it so funny that they're just having like full-on like father-son conversations, and he's like, go on, very good kid, and all that stuff about him trying to learn or try to figure out what he knows and the information and explain it. It's just really interesting, but it's good, but it's also quite exposition-y.
Like, it's like, he gave this felt like, hey, you didn't read the Percy Jackson series, but you read Heroes of Olympus. We're gonna give you all the exposition, even though I did, but for people who didn't, but it's so good. Hey y'all, so it's been a while since I've spoken to you. I am still at home. I've not been back because grief babies, but this book is fantastic, y'all. It makes me so happy. And Frank and Hazel and Percy and all of them and Ella deserve all the love in this world. Honestly, like, it's such a stereotype, but Frank being like, I thought you thought it was repulsive, bless you. Honestly, I love him so much. His grandma is an icon. We stan. But yeah, I'm having a good time with this. Hazel kissed Percy on the cheek in a totally sisterly way, and it's made my heart warm. I'll just read the thing. Hazel did something he wasn't expecting. She leaned over and kissed him on the cheek. It was a totally sisterly kiss, but she smiled with such affection that it warmed Percy right down to his feet. Of course we trust you, she said. We're a family now. Aren't we, Frank? Sure, he said. Do I get a kiss? I love them with my whole heart. Hello, Frank can turn into a bear and an eagle. This is so cool. One thing I'll always praise Percy Jackson for everything, but one thing I will always praise, I guess, Rick Riordan and all of his series for is their fight sequences. They're just always really well done, and I don't know if that's a personal preference thing, because I know some people will think otherwise, but I've just always liked the way they've kind of been very sort of whirlwindy. Here's this thing and this thing and that. Like, I just like it, and they're gonna take God and they're gonna kill it. It's gonna be good. Okay, war is bad. I don't like murder, but good times. Absolutely fucking brilliant. I'm literally like 30 pages from done, but I find it fucking brilliant that Rick decided, you know what, Ariane's super cool horse, but we're gonna make him swear like a sailor. like, isn't that just fantastic? It's fantastic. It's really funny. Like, because obviously we don't hear what he says, and we only ever hear Ariane speak when it's not in Percy's perspective, so we don't hear what he's saying. Hazel, Percy said, I'm seriously going to wash your horse's mouth with soap. It's so funny. It's so funny. Back. My boy I love Tyson so much. And Tyson has a crush on Ella. That's so funny. That's so funny. But Tyson and Mrs. O'Leary are back, and it's melting my whole entire heart, and they're gonna do the thing and they're gonna win. Okay, these are just little updates now because they're gonna win and it's gonna be good, and they're gonna meet Annabeth and I'm gonna have a good time. Hello, excuse me. I've been eating safari snacks because I'm a child. I finished it. It's done. I finished the second one. It was so freaking good, guys. I loved it so much. I'm gonna give you an overall thoughts, but I'm gonna talk to you in my wrap up as well. 4 stars. Would like solidly recommend. I just didn't give it 5 stars just because Well, I don't know. I think I give too many things 5 stars, and this series is just so solid, but it just didn't just have that je ne sais quoi. It just wasn't quite there, but it's fantastic, and I would highly recommend it. I think I've also talking very quickly. I think because I've also been reading it during a time where I've not been feeling great. That doesn't help either. I've been reading it through grief, which means sometimes I just stop and I'm like, the sad. But it was very good. I loved everyone. Frank and Hazel own my heart. I wasn't set on Hazel at first, to be honest. Well, like, I liked her, but I wasn't like set on her. But then when the first kind of flashback happened, I was like, no, I've decided to stan you. Frank is so cool. I love him so much. I want to be able to turn into a bear and also an eagle and also an elephant. And like, he has goals. Like, I love him. Percy, as always, king. I was vaguely annoyed that at the end he didn't meet Annabeth, and he won't till the next book. But then I remembered I own them all, so I can literally just immediately go on and read the third one. It's good shit. It was good, and the characters were good, and again, I love the fighting sequences, and it's good. I'm very happy about it. And I'm so excited to see where this continues to, and I think some stuff with Nico happens next book. I think we see more of Nico in the third book, which makes me very happy because there wasn't much Nico in this book, and that distressed me greatly because Nico I love that man. Bot. He's a boy, right? I guess. I love Nico D'Angelo with my whole heart. But yes, this was fantastic. Maybe that's why it's not a 5, because there wasn't enough Nico in it. But this was good. And the Amazons are so cool, and I love that they mention. Yeah. Okay. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, you know what to do. Please remember to drink your water, eat your vegetables, and peace out, I guess.